What made you become a motivational speaker and what motivates you?
Okay, so I became a motivational speaker, I guess, because I want to help people, for one. I love the whole idea of helping and inspiring others, especially from my own personal story, and I felt like I had a lot to share. Obviously, first that wasn't kind of my vision. I had the opportunity to speak once and I absolutely loved it, and then it kind of just snowballed from there, and I really enjoyed it, and I loved the feel as well to kind of help people. Even today at your school, people's come up to me and just really genuinely thanked me for doing what I do. And I know there's sometimes a lot of challenges within school. People are going through their own personal battles and their own personal struggles. So for somebody to come up to me and be quite a little bit emotional as well and just say thank you, that's why I do what I do and why I continue to push forward. And what motivates me is just what I've said, really. Other people, meeting people like yourself inspires me. Also, obviously, my grandmother inspired me for how hard she worked. She wasn't the most fortunate, she didn't have the most money in the world, but she'd do absolutely anything for her grandkids. And because of that, that kind of inspired me to be able to, like, if she could do that, maybe I could do that on a bigger scale and help as many people as I possibly can.
Good answer. What previous work have you done?
What previous work have I done as far as my speaking or before that?
Before that.
Before that, so I was a paperboy. I worked in a restaurant for quite a long time, like a brewer's fair, then also in an Indian restaurant as well, which was quite bizarre. So yeah, I've done that. Call centre, what I got fired from, which I was obviously it was around the time when I was it was at the beginning of my journey, I guess, where I was trying to transform myself. So my attitude and stuff was still off, and because of that, there's always consequences to that, and because of obviously the way I behaved, I got fired. But then obviously things change, and I worked a lot of the University West of England, doing a lot of the health and safety and accommodation work there over the summers and stuff, trying to just get an extra bit of money whilst I got my degree. And obviously I worked at a Premier Inn as well. So yeah, they're all my jobs I've done before, kind of trying to make this business work, making my speaking work, and I had to obviously pay the bills at the same time. So yeah.
What point in your life did you believe you could help others?
What point in my life did I feel I could help others? When I was in college, as I was once again kind of the transformation pit, when I was in college and I was working a lot harder in American football and in my education, and people started to look up to me, and because I was doing what I said I was doing, I was putting in a lot of work, a lot of action, people would follow me, if that makes sense. People would, I'd essentially become a leader. And people wanted to kind of adopt similar characteristics and similar traits to what I was displaying at that particular moment. And because of that, people would come to me and they would ask advice. Because it's okay going out there and talking to loads of people saying, say do this or do that, but if I'm not leading by example, what's the point? Does that make sense? Because you might think, oh, he's really inspiring, and you can maybe go onto my social media, see me eating pizzas every single day, doing stuff. I'm not out partying all the time. It's not really living the message I'm essentially sharing.
How do you feel once you have given a speech?
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. That feeling, knowing, especially sometimes you go to some place and you think, did that go as good as I hoped? A lot of it is on crowd engagement, but I know sometimes you go to places and they're all shouting out and it's amazing, like the engagement's there. Other times people's a lot more reserved, but at the same time, I could go get my phone out and then I'll receive messages after messages of people saying thank you. At the time they might have not shown it, might not have had that confidence, but because of that, it just makes me feel amazing. And when I'm having difficult days and tough days and challenges myself, like we all do, those messages I receive keep me going and remind me why I do what I do, essentially.
Do you feel successful in what you're doing?
No, not yet. I always believe in smelling the roses from time to time, and even kind of seeing how far I've come. I feel like I am successful in many ways. But people say about measuring success, and I like to say this, I measure success from the people I've helped and what they're doing now. And in many ways, obviously from the messages I receive, then maybe I am, but at the same time I want to remain kind of hungry and continue to grow and continue to help as many people as I possibly can. But I'm definitely happy with the progress I am making. It's been a long time coming. But success, once again, is subjective. It's different for absolutely everybody. And I've still got a long way to go, but I still continue doing what I'm doing.
Do your speeches continue to motivate you as yourself as well as others?
Not so much me doing it does, if that makes sense. And like just meeting people again, as I said, the interaction, the engagement, that inspires me. Does that make sense? So it's a very much a two-way thing. And I know one thing it does inspire is that what I'm saying is complete truth, 100% truth. It's not just a Google quote or something I read on Instagram. It's the real me, and I think that's why I'm more relatable to a lot of people. So yeah, like it does inspire me, but more of not what I say, just the reaction I get from what I say, if that makes sense, and how it helps.
All right. If you were asked a difficult question during a speech, how would you deal with that question?
Depends what you mean by a difficult question. Like, what do you mean by something personal, maybe?
I guess so, yeah.
I don't think I've not really answered any questions. I'll answer them if they're appropriate. I'll answer them the honest way possible. If it's not appropriate, and most times everybody knows it's not appropriate, everyone will laugh and just whatever, we're not answering it and go on to the next one. But I'm pretty good and I'm pretty honest, and I'm very flexible with what I do. So I kind of change everything I do anyway, so it doesn't really, I've never been caught off guard, if that makes sense. Until then.
Do you find that motivating others brings them more success?
Of course. And I think motivation doesn't necessarily last. Obviously, we've all felt really good, really motivated, really pumped up. Then we go home, you're asleep. You know, you just can't be bothered. I know you can tell, can't you, miss? We've all felt like that. Motivation doesn't last. That's why it comes down to a lot of other things like habits and trying to get into a good routine, as well as trying to plan, set some goals and try and just prepare yourself the best way you possibly can. Because if you tell yourself you just got to do this, sometimes you don't need motivation, just get on and do it. Don't overthink the process and just get on and get the job done, if that makes sense. But of course, it does obviously motivate people, and a constant reinforcement of the videos we do, of the posts we put on social media, is just kind of carrying on my message so people can see it on a daily basis and hopefully get inspired to do something.
Right. Did you enjoy school, and who motivated you when you were young?
I think I did enjoy school in many ways. Obviously, it can be fun times, and I think half the teachers loved me, half the other teachers hated me. So I wasn't a nasty, naughty boy at all. I was a cheeky chappy who was trying to push the boundaries out as far as I could until, obviously, sometimes they broke. But yeah, school, I learned a lot through school process and kind of how not to be, and that's why I share the messages in school and how actually it can have a massive effect on you, and why I talk a lot about the characteristics you learn in school and how they're essentially so important for when you leave school. It's a preparation stage for the rest of your life, and it is very important. And yeah, it was a great experience. What was the second part of the question, sorry?
Who motivated you?
People motivate me for different reasons. Like some celebrities, like music motivates me. Obviously, my grandmother at that time motivated me. My dad was always working really hard, so I think that's why I work very hard. I always learn good and bad things from different people. Sometimes you learn how to be and how not to be. And I meet a wide range of different people. And even so you see stuff on the news, you're like, I don't want to be like that. I know I don't want to be like that. And that kind of motivates you to be something different. Does that make sense a little bit? So yeah, a lot of personal people close to me inspired me, as well as obviously the external as well, and music, and I started reading, and yeah.
Did you enjoy, how was your life being more successful through you being motivated?
I think it's not about being successful. I think it's just about having a goal and a dream. If you have a goal and a dream in place and your mission is to try and go after that every single day, that is what motivates me. And even if I don't feel sometimes great or too motivated at a particular moment, I kind of align myself with my big dream again and get back on track and get the ball rolling and try and build up that momentum, you know. Even when I'm having a bad day, it's trying to get the job done even if you don't feel like doing it. And that's where motivation is great, obviously, but having that picture, having that purpose, that dream in your head is what keeps me going.
Last question. What subject did you enjoy at school the most?
Drama. As you know, drama, just drama and PE. They're the most kind of outgoing, most probably to my characteristic. I also liked English, to be fair, because I had a great English teacher. I was very lucky when I was in school. I had a great English and maths teacher, and they understood me, whereas maybe the other subjects didn't go so well, but yeah.
Can I just ask one extra question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you found your visit today to Outwood Academy Foxhills?
How have I found my visit? I honestly, I'm not just saying it because we wouldn't spend this time and we wouldn't film it. And my cameraman would probably say the same, but this school is an incredible place. And even just the way you kind of met us on the reception and the way you've looked after us today, even getting just simple things, getting us water and telling us about the school, even maybe the challenges you have from your students, things what's going on, exciting things what's going on. And you just really informed us and made us feel a part of the culture, and culture is so important within schools, and I felt like it straight away, and I felt like I was at home. Does that make sense? You made me today feel at home, and because of that the assemblies went amazing. Everybody's happy, everybody's smiling, or they're at least trying to participate and engage, and I think that's a lot about confidence as well, and how your school instills confidence in people, as well as knowing what's right and what's wrong. And it's so important for the preparation stage for life, and you guys are essentially preparing people for what is next. And I think that is so, you're not just about education and grades.